I'd planned on doing a video on load testing today since I was at the range this morning load testing. But then I realized while at the range that there was a much more important issue we needed to discuss, and that's the issue of DUDs. Because there's a lot of them out there and it's becoming an epidemic. So let's discuss real quick what a DUD is. Okay, while at the range, there were some people there that they were incompetent. I mean, they were just absolutely incompetent. They were dangerous. They were a danger to themselves. They were a danger to everyone around them. And the worst part is that they were just rude. Okay, so when I say incompetent, I'm not talking about that, just not knowing. A lot of us don't know. That's ignorance. And thankfully, being ignorant's okay, because if it wasn't, I'd be in trouble. But if you're ignorant, you can learn. But DUDs, it's not that they're ignorant, not just that they're ignorant or incompetent, but they're also very rude, and they think they know absolutely everything there is to know, in addition to being ignorant and incompetent. So they don't even know they're DUDs. And all right, here's a little correlation that goes with that, so that since DUDs don't know they're DUDs, you might be a DUD. I'm sorry, it's possible, but okay, I've noticed a correlation that goes along with DUDs, and they tend to use the word FUDD a lot, and they also tend to have ARs. So if you use the word FUDD a lot and you have an AR, I'm sorry. I mean, I hate it, I really do, but chances are really high that you are a DUD. I'm sorry. It's not guaranteed, but chances are high. I mean, because FUDD's not a nice term, so that means you're probably not the nicest person you could be. And you have AR, and they all go together, I'm sorry. So, but that's okay, because as soon as you realize that you are a DUD, well, that's the first step in recovery, admitting that there's a problem. So that's what we're going to do today. That's what this video is about. It's going to help you, and it's going to help the people around you. Because we're going to help you no longer be a DUD. Now, for those of you that have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, you've never even heard the term FUDD. Well, FUDD is a term that a lot of the tactical guys use to describe hunters that don't support keeping semi-automatic weapons legal here in the U.S. All right, so the hunters that are only interested in making sure their hunting rifle and their hunting shotguns are legal. And there's a couple of you out there that feel that way, and that's okay. That's your right. That's up to you. You're entitled to your opinion. I don't necessarily hold with that, but I respect you having that opinion. Okay, now for you DUDs, okay, the hunters that feel that way, that, I'm going to just go out on a limb here. I'm just stabbing at this. And I'm just going to say, if you want them to kind of, support, semi-automatic weapons being legal, well, you don't need to be more dangerous to them because of your just complete incomprehension of safety than some future potential tyrannical government. I'm just saying, I'm guessing at that. I don't know that to be true, but if the most dangerous thing they're likely to ever encounter is you and your incompetence, they're probably not going to support you. I'm stabbing at that. Okay, so I want them to like you. If you're a DUD, I want the hunters that feel that way, I want them to like you. And that's part of what we're going to accomplish with this little 12-step program here. Okay, so step one in our little program to help you no longer be a DUD. Okay, when you go to the range, when you're around other people, and you have your AR around other people, okay, so it's just not you at your house admiring it. Okay, the first thing you need to do when you're at the range is you need to clear it. Okay, so that means you need to, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot, most of you can't run a stick shift. Well, hold on. I'm here for you. Okay, the first thing you need to do is you need to clear it. Okay, so what that means is, all right, the magazine. I know you had a hard time getting it in there, but you need to take it out now. So you release and you remove it from the gun. It's not there. Okay, now that little bolt thingy, you pull it back and you leave it back. I know it makes that cool little mousetrap closing sound and noise when you release it, but you gotta leave it back. I'm sorry. And then you take your cleared rifle, and let's say this is the bench, and that's the target's that way. So that's down range. That's the direction we shoot. You know, when there's no people down there. Only when there's no people down there. But you take your cleared AR or whatever, and you set it on the bench pointing that way. And the reason for that is so when people walk by, when they see that bolt open and that magazine removed, that lets them know right off, you're not a dud. That's what that does. That tells the whole world right there that you are not a dud, that you could possibly know what you're doing and be safe to be around. So it's a little, you know, reassuring thing. It just makes people feel, you know, warm and fuzzy when they're around you. Okay, so that's step one. Okay, step two. All right, now you know when you were binge watching all those tactical videos, you know, for 12 hours the day before you went to the range. I know somewhere during one of those videos you heard somebody mention the word muzzle and muzzle discipline. If nobody ever said that in your 12 hours of watching videos, you need to watch other videos. Okay, well, I'm going to let you in on a secret here. You see that right there at the end of the barrel? That's the muzzle. That's what they're talking about. All right, so when they say muzzle discipline, key word there. So I'm sorry about your ADD and your ADHD and your inability to concentrate, you know, with serious things constantly, you know, while you're doing serious things. I'm sorry. You got to work on that. That's that discipline part though, but you can't point this at anybody. Ever. Seriously, it's nobody. I don't care if it's your Glock and you're just, you know, daydreaming and your ADD and ADHD kicked in and no. That downrange part is, you point it that way all the time. Now I know sometimes you have to like get it out of a case and stuff. That's when you point it down at the ground and then you put it in the case, and you can point it up at the sky too if you feel like you need to, but you don't point it into anybody ever. And there's no excuse for doing it, not even your ADD. So, all right, the bench. We're at the bench again. Targets that way. All right, so you can't have this, you know, with this in it and bullets in the chamber and set it on the bench this way, pointing at all those other people besides you. You're a dud if you do that. You know, you really are. I saw a lot of duds at the range this morning. A lot of them doing that. Okay, so that's step two. That muzzle thing. Don't point at nobody. Okay, step three. This is a tough one, but I feel sure if y'all work on this one, you'll get it. You need to know what all the little buttons do. I know there's a lot of buttons on an AR. I'm sorry, I didn't invent it. I mean, I don't have one, but I mean, you know, it's not my fault. But you really do have to know what they do, all of them. Yeah, you do. And you need to know before you get to the range. When you're at the range and all those people are around you and there's a lot going on, and you know, you kind of trying to look, make sure everybody else isn't a dud that's around you. That's not the time to be trying to figure all this out. So, you know, you don't need to be shocked, you know, when that all of a sudden releases. You need to know it was gonna release. All right, and that goes back to this not being in here. You need to know what happens when you release this, and this is in here. Even if you didn't want whatever was about to happen. There's this whole physics thing that just, it goes along with these. And you know, I know in your little world that there's things you want to happen and you dream they're gonna happen, but then there's that what really happens part in the real world. You gotta be in touch with that real world for a little while you're at the range. I'm sorry. And that's knowing what them little buttons do. But that's okay. If you spend those hours, you know, instead of watching those tactical videos for 12 hours before you go to the range, not that I have anything against the tactical videos. There's a lot of great information to be learned there. You need to spend at least a couple hours learning those buttons and what they do. Just saying. And here's a pro tip for you. If you have to beat on anything on your gun to try to make it work because it's not working, you probably don't know what you're doing. You're probably a dud. I'm sorry. I mean, you notice that rectangular shape of this magazine? All right, if it were round and you were trying to put it in here and it didn't fit, beating on it isn't gonna make it work. I'm just saying. All right, so, and if this was made for another gun, you know, there's a good chance it might not work in this one. It's possible, just, you know. So you need to know how yours works and those little buttons and, you know, how to put this in and take it out. So that really helps let people know that you're not a dud. So moving on now. So step number 4, when you're shooting, okay, and you pull that trigger and it goes bang and the bullet goes out. What's that? That's right, the muzzle. You got it. I knew you could. Okay, when that bullet goes out here, the brass that held it, it flies in this particular rifle this way. All right, so if there's somebody right beside you, unless they're a dud, you can throw brass on duds. It's okay, because they're throwing it on other people too. That's, you know, that's part of being a dud. I'm sorry, but if the person beside you is not a dud, you can't shoot your AR right beside them and hit them with brass. I know it's not fair. I'm sorry, but you can't. I mean, so another little pro tip. If your AR ejects brass to the right, go to the right-hand side of the range, to the furthest bench to the right, if you can. That way, there's nobody beside you and your brass isn't hitting them. That's, you know, or if, you know, if the range is full, again, if you see a dud there, now that you know what a dud is and you're, you know, going through the program of not being one anymore, if you see a dud there and there's an opening right beside them, you can go to that opening and throw brass on them and it's okay. But for anybody else there, it's not okay. All right, so that means you can't shoot. I know, I didn't make these rules up, but I know you drove a long ways to go shoot like everybody else, but your brass cannot be hitting them. It's kind of like this. You can't point this at anybody ever. Your brass can't hit people either. It just, they know you're a dud then. I'm sorry. Okay, and just another little tip here. if you're a southpaw, and I have nothing against you lefties. Okay, if you're on an AR, okay, and again, remember that brass, most of the time it goes this way. You really don't need your face right here beside it when it throws it out. Just saying. Okay, so you need to be aware with any semi-automatic, it's going to throw brass out somewhere somehow. And you don't need to be where that brass comes out. And you don't want other people to get hit by that brass either. So if you can avoid that, that's a big step right there in your recovery. Okay, step number 5, and this is an important one, and I know I'm just a buzzkill here. I'm sorry, I'm taking all the fun out of everything, but I really want the FUDDs to like you, and I don't want you to be the biggest threat, and I don't want you to be the problem instead of the government. These are called targets. They sell these in stores. Okay, you can print some out on your little printer. I know some of you've got to have 3D printers, and then instead of making gun parts, make a target. That'd be a good project for you, but paper tends to work best. Okay, so, and what you do is you go to your range and you put your paper up on, at my particular range, we've got chicken wire strung up, and you put little clothespins on it and you hang it at whatever yardage. Up close, up far away, and you shoot at this. All right. If you forget these, or if you just didn't know that you needed these, or your ADHD kicked in again, and you just forgot all about them, it doesn't mean you get to shoot at the posts that hold these. No, that's bad. Shooting at the post that holds these up is bad. Again, that lets everybody know that you're a dud. Instantly. They know it automatically. And this is the kicker. Even if nobody else is there and it's nobody but you still don't shoot at the post that holds these. It's called wrong. Okay, so I know I don't make the rules. I'm just trying to help you out. Just pointing some stuff out. Okay, so don't shoot at the post. Don't tear up the range. And this kind of fits in with these. When you're done, you throw them away. There's trash cans and stuff around there. And even if they're eaten, you take it with you. You throw it away at your house. Okay, you don't just leave these. And just because you forgot these and you saw a TV sitting on the curb on your way and you thought, well, that'd be fun to shoot. No, don't shoot the TVs up. Don't carry that to the range and use that for your target. It makes a really big mess. And I know you don't understand the problem with messes, but trust me, it's a problem. I know you never did a thing to that range to help build it or maintain it. But there's people that do. They keep it up. They do that thing called work. That 4-letter word that we like to never use, but still. Matter of fact, YouTube might even, demonetize this video for me using 4-letter words like that. But still, there's some people there that do some work to keep it nice like it is when you get there. And it's just really polite if you leave it like you found it. I'm serious. As a matter of fact, if you see some other trash, you can take that trash with you too. I promise you, you can. Now, they're not going to accuse you of stealing if you clean up some of the trash around there and make it look better than when you got there. Just a little tip. And if anybody sees you do that, if anybody sees you pick up trash out there and throw it away in the trash can, or carry it with you that you cleaned up, they're automatically going to know you're not a dud right off. And trust me, that's going to go a long ways to helping those FUDDs feel better about your ARs and supporting your rights. Okay, I think we covered it today on how not to be a dud, and I'm sure there's a lot of other things we could go over, you know, along that, but I really want to keep this simple. I know it's complicated and there's a lot of stuff there that just don't make a lick of sense. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Okay. And after everything I saw this morning, I really did feel like I need to go over every single one of those because I've seen that too many times today. Yes, this was absolutely necessary. And for all of you AR guys out there that actually know what you're doing, I know this sucks, but you need to help those that have no clue not be duds. Seriously, you need to help them. They need the help. Trust me. Okay. And once you eliminate, you know, that whole growing movement of duds, because there's more and more duds every day, you know, once y'all can kind of, you know, start putting an end to that, or at least it not growing anymore, I think you'll find a lot more people are a lot more receptive to, you know, ensuring we have and continue to have the right to semi-automatic firearms. Again, that's just a suggestion, you know. Based on my observations, I'm going to take a stab at it, and that's what I think it would help. So, anyway, I really hope, you know, you take this to heart if you are a dud, and I'm telling you, if you work at it, there's hope for you. There is. You can beat this. So, God bless, and y'all have a good night.